In 1898, Maria das Dores Ferreira, a 63-year-old widow, had lost everything. Her husband had died 2 years earlier. Her small house had been sold to pay off debts, and her 3 sons had scattered south, struggling to earn a living. She was left alone, drifting from farm to farm in the state of Minas Gerais, accepting any work, no matter how exhausting or frightening. She arrived at Santa Rita Farm, once owned by the Mendez family, and now managed by Joaquim Mendez da Silva, a stern, fair man, quiet and reclusive. At the edge of the farm, near the forest, stood an abandoned well everyone feared. They said it was cursed, that the spirit of a slave who had drowned in it still cried at night. But Maria, hardened by life, considered such stories a luxury she couldn't afford. On her 3rd morning, Joaquim approached her and said, "There's a well by the forest line. I want you to clean the area and see if it can still be used. If you do a good job, I'll pay you extra." The word extra lit a spark inside her. She went to the well and spent hours cleaning it. When she finally lifted the rotting wooden planks and looked inside, she saw darkness so deep it seemed to swallow the light. She dropped a stone and heard the echo only after a long delay. A dangerous decision formed in her mind. She tied a rope to a tree trunk, fastened an oil lamp to her waist, and began descending. She expected water, but found herself standing on a stone platform hidden inside the well. On the wall was a narrow opening, leading to a downward passage carved into the rock, with steps hewn into the stone. On the first step was an ominous inscription: "Whoever descends shall bear the weight of the secret." She hesitated, then whispered to herself, "After everything I've endured, what's left to fear?" She descended about 50 steps into a large underground chamber. In the center stood a large wooden chest, locked. Beside it was a smaller box, and scattered across the floor were yellowed papers bearing the seal of the Mendez family. She opened the smaller box and found gold coins, a blue gem brooch, a leather journal. She opened the journal and was shocked. It had been written by Amanda Mendez, the sister of the farm's former owner. She confessed a terrifying truth. She had fallen in love with a slave. When her father discovered the affair, he ordered the man killed and thrown into the well. Amanda tried to save him, but the well was sealed and the truth buried. She had then gathered her fortune and hidden it here, along with a secret that would condemn the family. Maria turned to the large chest. She forced the rusted lock open, and the smell of ancient death filled the chamber. Inside lay a small skeleton, a child, wrapped in faded cloth. On its chest hung a plaque: Agostinho, son of Amanda, rightful heir to the Mendez estate. Maria trembled. The family that currently ran the farm were not the rightful heirs. But what stunned her most was the brooch she had found. It was identical to the one her mother had always worn, passed down from her grandmother before her. She gasped. Could she truly be descended from Amanda? Had the brooch, the family heirloom, traveled through generations of women until it reached her? Before she could process the truth, a voice echoed from above. "Maria, what are you doing?" It was Joaquim. He climbed down into the hidden chamber, his eyes widening at the treasures, the boxes, the documents. "I know about this place, but it's not yours," he snapped. Maria raised the brooch toward him. His expression collapsed into shock. "Where did you get that? That belongs to the bloodline," she replied steadily. "From my grandmother, and her mother before her, and before her, a woman named Amanda." Joaquim stared, speechless. Suddenly, part of the stone ceiling collapsed, blocking the way out. Joachim screamed, "We're trapped!" But Maria noticed a side passage revealed by the collapse. "No, there's another way." She led him through the narrow corridor to a massive stone door covered in ancient symbols. When she touched the door with the brooch, it slowly opened, as if it had been waiting for her. Inside lay a small chamber, illuminated through a crack in the ceiling. At its center rested a scroll tied with a red ribbon. Maria opened it, and the truth struck like lightning. "I hereby declare that the Mendez inheritance and the land of Santa Rita shall pass to my legitimate granddaughter and to her descendants, Amanda Mendez." Joachim stared at the words, then sank to the ground in disbelief. "I swear, I never knew the truth." Maria looked at him, not with anger, but with quiet understanding. "The fault is not yours, but the land is not yours either." They emerged through the passage into the early dawn. As Maria's feet touched the soil of the farm, she felt the land welcome her, as though it had recognized its lost daughter at last. Within days, her 3 sons returned after hearing the news, and together they began a new chapter in running the farm. Joachim asked humbly to remain as the farm's general manager, acknowledging her as the true owner at last. One clear night, Maria stood before the old well, raising the blue brooch toward the stars. "Amanda, rest in peace. Justice has returned to its rightful hands." She sealed the well firmly and walked away, beginning the life she had never imagined she could have, a rightful heir who never knew she was one. And so Santa Rita finally returned to its true family after the well swallowed countless secrets. It returned the most important one in the end.